Hey everyone, Kevin here with Divinely Designed, and today I have a different video. Today I'm going to do a card making video. So I know most of my subscribers know my channel as a soap and bath and beauty kind of channel, but I've been doing some more paper crafting, and I'm taking a little bit of a break from my soaping for a while because, well, my job is really busy, and I have some soap to like wrap and label and do all those kinds of non-fun, kind of, you know, don't make the soap but actually take care of the soap kind of stuff. So I've got a bunch of that stuff to do, and so I thought I would do a card, which I can make the video and sort of be done with the card, and that's it. So today's video is going to feature a whole bunch of different products, but mainly I'm using some products from Papertree Ink. To make a shaker card. So this is the card I'll be making today. It's a snow globe, you can see that, and inside it's got some snowflakes, I'm sort of at a weird angle, that sort of move around in there and shake around, and this really cool lettering here that says sparkle. So we'll be making this card today. Okay. So going over just some of the products that we're using. So like I said, featuring some Papertree Ink stamps and some dies. So I have their O Tannenbaum stamp set, the Sparkle and Shine stamp set. I have their shaker card snow globe die, and it comes with several pieces. So there's the outline, the piece that will sort of cut the both the facing side outside of the card, but also the one that will cut the foam that will give you some space so that you can add your shakers. The base of the snow globe, and then a little label for the snow globe as well. It also comes with this die which cuts out some snowflakes, and so I used this die. And then there's a separate die set called the Sparkle and Shine die set, and it comes with the word sparkle. There's also, I like this die set, it's kind of cool looking, and it comes with the word shine. It works really well with their Sparkle and Shine stamp set, obviously. And it also includes a little exclamation point, which I did not use for this card here, so. And other stamps I'll be using from Lawn Fawn is the Argyle backdrops. For inks, I'll be using some Stampin' Up! Daffodil Delight and Soft Sky. I also have some Jet Black StazOn, an Ink It Up pigment ink that in silver, an Archival pigment ink in pearlescent sky blue, a Studio G pigment ink in green, and a Distress Ink Festive Berries. You also need the foam double-sided sticky pad, and this is just an extra one I cut out, but we'll be die cutting a different shape. But it's sticky on both sides and it's foam. I did see some of the videos of people using fun foam because I purchased this from Papertree Ink also, and you can get 3 pretty big sheets. This is a sheet here, so it's pretty big, but you only get 3 sheets for like $10. I don't know how many outlines I would get using that die cut. Probably, maybe 5 or 6 total from one sheet. Maybe, yeah, maybe not even that. But anyway, so we're using that. I have some embossing powders here. So from Whispers, I have a clear glitter embossing powder and then a glitter embossing powder. And finally some Tombow Mono Multi Glue. Okay, so let me get my things out of the way here. Okay, so for the base of the card, I'm using this this cardstock. It's this is actually from Michaels, and it's hard to see probably on the camera, but it's got a bit of a shimmer to it, and this is sort of a champagne color. So I took an 8.5 and 11 card and cut it in half, and then I'm going to, if I can get my scoreboard here, score this quickly at 5.5. Okay. And we'll just burnish that a little bit. Nice crisp edge. Okay. All right. I've gone ahead and die cut a lot of my things already just to save on time. So just to kind of go over it, we'll need the base of the snow globe, which is what you'll glue down to the base of the card, and we're going to be doing some stamping on. On top of that will be the foam, the double sticky foam, and after that we'll go a clear piece of plastic. Now I actually forgot to buy, you can buy the acetate sheets, so I forgot to do it. So this is just from a product package that I had left over of some other dyes. So I'm sort of just recycling that, but that'll go to hold in all the little shakers you put in, and then the things that'll go on top are this other die cut, and the base, and the little label, and then the sparkle. Okay? So let's get some stamping and completion done here. So if you notice on my card, the finished card, that the Christmas tree in the background, and I'll see if I can get kind of a better, has kind of an argyle pattern in the background. I like that. I think that's really cool looking. So I used the Lawn Fawn Argyle stamp set, which is pretty cool. And I'm using the Soft Sky from Stampin' Up. Now when you stamp Soft Sky, it actually, you can see on my scratch piece of paper here, this is my first generation stamping from it. It's pretty dark, and I wasn't really looking for something quite so dark. So I'm going to ink up the stamp, and then I'm just very quickly going to lay the stamp down, and then we'll do a stamp. So then we get kind of a much lighter version of the stamp itself. I'm going to do that again, just stamp it off kind of quickly. Then I'm going to line up the points of my stamp here with the one I did. Stamp again. And one more time. And then this will complete the pattern. And all you're doing here, it's not real hard, you just sort of line up the points from the last time. Okay. So that's... And that will sort of even out in just a little bit here. Okay, that's the first part of the Argyle stamp. And let me get the next one. So it comes with the solid diamond pattern, and then it has this stitched diamond pattern that you can put over it. So going back to my soft sky, I'm still using soft sky. Now for this one, I'm not going to stamp off. I'm just going to load up the stamp, or load up the stamp with some ink. And for this one, you want to have the crosses where the diamonds cross in the middle of the diamonds that you've already stamped, the solid diamonds and the blank space diamonds. So you want them in the center there. So again, I'm just sort of lining it up, making sure I have it nice and even, and then stamping. And that soft sky, now that I didn't stamp it off once, is a little bit darker, and I think that's a nice distinction there. Now again, here I'm just going to line up the points now that I've stamped it once. The points of the diamonds. And one more time. Okay. Alright, just going to clean off my stamp here with a baby wipe. And that's all we're going to use the soft sky for. Okay. Now we'll move on to stamping. And you can see down here I didn't really cover this end, but it doesn't matter because we'll be covering that up with some of the other things. So now I'm moving on to the O Tannenbaum stamp set from Papertree Ink, and I'm going to be using a pigment ink here. This pigment ink is just one I picked up at my local my local AC Moore, and they were on sale, like I think they were 50 cents a piece, so I bought a bunch of them. Now, there is a border when this is finished around the snow globe, so you don't want to stamp all the way to the top, and some of the bottom of this tree will get cut off, and that's okay. Okay. And I like the pigment ink here too because it does cover up some of that Argyle background. I could have done probably a mask. I could have stamped the tree and then hand cut it out and done a masking technique with it. But I think the pigment ink itself sort of blocks enough of it that you can't really see it. There's a coordinating little round dots die that goes with this Christmas tree, and I'm using Festive Berries from Distress Ink, and this is the mini distress pad, which I like. Okay, and then we'll just line them up with the dots. And if they're not perfect, I'm not so. It doesn't seem to bother me on my last one I did. They were a little bit off, and they're a little bit off here too, but I think that's fine. I think it still looks nice. And then finally, there is also a coordinating stamp that has sort of a sparkle that goes around the outside. Now I'm going to use two. This is also a pigment ink. This is a silver pigment ink. But it's really light. When I stamp it on here, you'll kind of see it's, well, maybe on the camera you might have a hard time seeing. But it's like a glow that goes around the tree. And again, you just sort of line it up. I find it pretty easy to use. So, I don't know if you can see that. It's nice. It has a little bit of shimmer to it, but it is pretty subtle. Alright, so I did another ink around it to make that sort of a little bit just more noticeable. And this is another pigment ink. This is an archival pearlescent sky blue. So it's a lovely sky blue color, but it has a little bit of a pearl sheen to it. And same thing. So when I do it this time, I'm going to try and actually move it a little bit off kilter because I don't want it, you know, stamped in exactly the same spot I stamped the silver ones, because then it'll just basically cover it up. So then now I have sort of the blue and silver sparkles that go around it. Okay. All right, so that is the stamping for the globe itself on the background. Now we're going to put the globe together. So on top of the globe, I have my double sticky tape. Now, this stuff is really sticky, and once you put it down, it's pretty hard to get off, so be very kind of careful with this. So, I tried to line up the bottom, the very sort of bottom edge, and that way if I got things a little wonky, I could move it just a little bit. Okay. Now, if you get like a tiny little, right down here, I have a very small sliver that's not quite right. That's okay, I think. I mean, you could trim those up. Now, since we're going to add some shaker elements in here, you want to make sure this is down nice and firm all the way around. Now, for my shaker elements, I have these little snowflakes that I'm using. I have silver ones, and I have some blue ones that are sparkly. And for the silver ones, I just have some silver paper that I cut them out of. The blue ones, I didn't have any blue silver paper. So what I did was, I have this piece of just blue cardstock, that's a scrap piece, and I took my Versamark ink and stamped it down, and then covered that with the clear glitter embossing powder, and then took my heat gun to it so that I could make some sparkly blue paper. And that's what I used to cut out my dies for the other snow ones. This is just the paper I used for the silver ones, which is a pre-purchased, you know, glitter paper. But with that clear embossing glitter, you could pretty much make whatever sparkly kind of paper you wanted. Okay, so I'm going to make sure they're upright. Now you could also put in some sequins here. I like just the sort of snowflakes that are present, so I'm just using the snowflakes. Okay, make sure your clear plastic that you're going to put over is nice and clean. Then I'm going to take off my plastic, or my adhesive backing here. Now again, this is really sticky, so just be careful with it. It's a little hard to use. Okay. So again, I'm going to just try and line this up as, ooh, that's not good. My little static kind of pulled up one of those snowflakes, and I don't want to touch it and put it down on the paper. Okay. All right. Now, again, this edge, like, they're not going to really see most of this because you're going to cover it up here in a second. Look at that. It's got all the staticky clingness there. Okay. Again, I'm going to press down nice and firm, make sure that's all stuck together. Okay, and now I have my little shakers in there. I kind of move around. All right, so I'm going to take my Tombow Mono Multi Glue, and I'm going to just add some liquid glue here on the plastic, and this will let you put the, whoops, I don't want to get any on the middle there, which I just did. This will let you kind of adhere it and give it a little bit of a wiggle so that you can get this outer piece in the right spot. Okay. And I'm just going to kind of squish that in place so it's nice and lined up. Good. And then some more liquid glue. Just on the bottom here, I'm going to put the base of the snow globe, which I've already punched out in a blue color. And this embosses it when you stamp it, when you die cut it also. And again, the liquid glue will let you sort of have a second or two to sort of line it up. And again, if you've gotten, a slight edge where it's not lined up perfectly, here again, this base, when you get it in the right spot, can probably cover up. If you've had a really very minor mistake, then this will help cover that up. Okay. And then finally I have the little label. Now on the little label I have stamped on it, Make It, with the StazOn jet black ink. And I'm just going to use, again, some more liquid glue. And kind of put this right in the middle. And I'm just going to eyeball that. Okay. And then give everything a good press. Alright, I'm going to move that to the side while it's sort of drying. And then what we have left is the sparkle. And what we're going to do here is I just die cut this out of some white cardstock, and I'm going to take my Versamark ink, and I think I'm going to take just a piece of scrap here. So I'm taking my Versamark and let me get in the shot here, and I'm just covering that die cut with it. And then I'll put it over here. And then I'm going to take my silver embossing powder and I'm going to cover it all up. Now, I thought about using, I had that silver sparkle paper that I used for the snowflakes, and I could have used that, but I wanted some distinction, and this Whisper Silver powder makes a fantastic, it makes a super great silver effect. Oops, okay, so I had some of my, I'm going to have to try and fix this. Some of my embossing powder kind of got away from me. Okay, prepare for some noise. And you can see that change when it kind of goes all shiny. You can tell your embossing powder has worked. Okay. So I have a little bit that didn't take. So let me see if I can fix that real quick. Okay. Sorry, I'm out of the shot here again. I just covered up those two little areas that had sort of missed getting oh goodness, this is not cooperating with me. Okay, let's try this. Okay. Alright, so it makes, you can see still have a little spot that didn't quite get there. But look how sparkly and silver that is. It's pretty fantastic. So, okay. Here's the base of my card. Here is my shaker. And I'm going to use some liquid glue again. And I'm going to put this on the back. And then I'm going to put it on my card, and I'm going to move it, I'm going to put it pretty far up here toward the top, but center it horizontally here, and then try to make sure it's nice and straight. And the reason I'm leaving more space down here at the bottom is that's where the sparkle is going to go. And this particular die cut, this flourish, fits very well under the label. And then I actually just sort of push this down because you'll get sort of different levels on it. So I'm going to put some liquid glue just kind of on the back here, especially on the top of the letters, on the flourish. And then down here, the stuff in the middle you can actually kind of leave not with any glue on. And then I just try to make sure I get and I'm just using my finger to hold it down where I put the glue. Hold that in place for a couple of seconds. Like I said, you will get a little bit of, you know, this little die cut over here, like the end of the E on the sparkle is sort of hanging in space. I think that's okay. Because I get a little bit of glue on my hands here. This little flourish needs to get a dot of glue on it. Okay, so the last thing I did was I have, again, some StazOn ink, and also from, I think this is from the O Tannenbaum, this is, I think, yeah, I can't remember. It's from one of the Papertree ink sets, but it's one that says Season's Greetings, and I simply stamp that right here in the center. Ooh, goodness, glad it. It wasn't too bad. Okay. All right, so there we have it. my Christmas tree shaker card featuring Paper Tree ink products and a whole bunch of other stuff. So, okay, this card was fun to make. It took a long time. I'm not an experienced card maker, I will say. So I think it takes me a longer time than somebody who's much more experienced than this. But I love the look of this card. I think it's like very festive and pretty. And my mom had asked me if I would help make a Christmas card so that she can send out, Christmas cards this year, and she asked me to help. So I was making this thinking this could be a contender, but quite honestly, it's a lot of work that goes into this. If I were going to mass produce this, if I want to send out, 30 cards, it would be a lot of work, probably. But I think it would be worth it. I think the results are just super pretty. Oh, you know what? And I forgot. I didn't use my Daffodil Delight ink, and I'll show you where I use it here. In the Christmas tree, I stamped, there's a little star that goes at the top of the tree, and I forgot to stamp it on this one here. Oh well, okay. Well, no big deal. So, there we go. Comments, questions, leave them below. I know this is kind of a different video for my channel. I hope you guys like it. If you're strictly a soaper, I hope you don't mind, that I have I'm going to put some other videos on my channel. And I hope you found it interesting. And again, comments, questions, leave them below. Okay, thanks everyone. I will talk to you all later.